I now give the floor to Ms. Eduarda Zogby, Director of the Women in Energy Brazil program at Columbia University, to deliver some remarks as a youth representative.
First, I would like to thank His Excellency President of the UN General Assembly and the Youth Envoy for your remarks and for the opportunity to be here today. I would also like to express my appreciation to the member states, the United Nations system, and everyone here today for your efforts to meaningfully engage with youth. Growing up in a resource-rich country, I developed environmental awareness at an early age and dedicated my life to tackling climate change. I was only 12 when Al Gore's message about an imminent climate crisis inspired me to become an activist for our planet. From protesting in the streets of Copenhagen during COP15 to participating at COP26 in Glasgow, I witnessed how the international community has changed its mindset towards youth engagement. Over the past 12 years, the power of youth to affect change has grown substantially, and this gives me hope. Nonetheless, youth are still underrepresented and underestimated. It is an honor to be here today, but I am aware that my experience is completely different than those from indigenous communities and indigenous youth in Brazil. Language, visas, and access to electricity are still preventing young people in remote locations from being part of the conversation. Today, I challenge you to think about how you can reach these unheard voices. When you travel to our countries, don't go where all leaders have already been before you, where the voices are well recognized already. Go where people need you the most. In Brazil, our Amazon forest is burning again while indigenous youth leaders struggle to survive. At the end of the day, it is not about empty promises or commitments to youth. It's about empathy and experiencing what we go through. Today, I urge you to consider 3 forms of meaningful youth engagement that I believe are critical to our future planetary agenda. First, we must incorporate youth voices into diplomacy and politics, because the future you are negotiating now will be ours. International and multilateral systems are extremely complex, and although having high-level education and experience to negotiate may seem imperative, you need to start preparing young people to assume your positions. The challenges we face today, wars, poverty, a climate crisis, cannot be solved with old-fashioned approaches and distance between you and your constituencies. We need all member states to understand how important inclusion of youth is for shaping international agreements. We also need young people in national and local politics. It is your duty to identify and address barriers to young people's participation and representation in politics, as our experiences are crucial for effective policymaking. Second, the world is failing to fulfill its educational promises. According to our Common Agenda report, COVID-19 forced 90% of students out their schools and universities, with the learners who lost the most valuable educational time in countries that lack electricity, internet, and computers necessary to enable remote learning. We are also part of an educational system that reinforces inequalities, a system in which your income, religious beliefs, ethnicity, race, and gender determines if you will have opportunities inside and outside the classroom. We need more scholarships. We need teaching methods based on evidence. We need schools to be equipped for people with disabilities and different learning needs. I would also highlight the importance of environmental education and action for climate empowerment through training and public awareness. Children and youth have the right to learn about what is happening to our planet and which job opportunities exist to fight against the climate crisis. Finally, young people need to have more access to finance. As part of our Youth for Climate Manifesto, a proclamation that resulted from consultations with youth representatives from countries across the globe who gathered in Milan last year, we deemed critical that young people receive support in resource mobilization and management across all levels. Student Energy's Global Youth Energy Outlook also recommends investing in upskilling and transition skills programs to sustain youth, developing targeted financial programs that prioritize our initiatives. My vision for the next decade is for us to feel empowered to lead our own businesses, our country's policies, and international treaties that affect our daily lives and futures. As an advocate for more women in energy, in politics, and across all sectors, I would like to emphasize the importance of diversity and inclusion throughout all these activities. Gender parity in all spheres and levels of decision-making is essential. I hope you may take this into consideration as you work to ensure more meaningful youth engagement at the UN. Due to the pandemic, we're even farther away from achieving equality. This is not the world I want for myself and for my children. I do not believe it is the world you wish to leave to future generations. Empathy is what brings my generation closer to yours. So if you ask me, how can we have more meaningful youth engagement? My answer to you is listen, care, and act. We need you to help us through diplomacy, inclusive education, and financial support. But most important is to believe in our power to lead global change. Thank you.